All right, everybody, what's going on, man? How y'all doing? Welcome to today's edition of SWAC Smoke, episode number 185. Man, we're making our way up to 200. 15 more to 200, man. We're gonna have us a good time when we get to 200. We always celebrate them 50, 100, 200. So we're gonna have us a good time. But right now we got Jerome in the house, Mr. Rattler himself. What's going on? How you doing? Oh, he's striking already.
Let's strike again. I'm doing good, man. Doing good. What's up to everybody out there in the chat? Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend. It's gonna be a cold one here, man. We got a big Arctic blast supposed to be coming through in the next couple of days, man. They talking about might get a little snow down here next week, so we'll see. Gotta bundle up and keep warm. It's gonna be really cold out there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool down here too, but cause we get what y'all get, but just not as extreme. It'll just be a
Yeah,
few days later. But it's
I
cold for
I,
us. Trust.
I I miss them. I miss them days, man, where it'd be like cold in the morning, and then by like 9 o'clock it'd be back to 75. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
like 10 o'clock, you gotta come up out
yes,
of
indeed, you
all.
gotta come up out of there. I miss them days, man. I,
Yeah.
every now and then I miss that. But like I said, man, we got a viewer's choice request that we're gonna talk about. Hopefully, Big Soldier come through and we'll chop it up with him too. But we're gonna talk about our top 5 games of the year. We'll get to that in a little bit. I got a little bit. I gotta get off my chest about some things. And we're gonna talk a little basketball and whatever else, man. So how y'all doing out there in the chat, man? Hope everybody doing good. Thank y'all for tuning in. And first and foremost, man, this is an odd time for me. I know a lot of people are super into football. I'm not really because I get with basketball stuff. I get like deep into basketball, so I don't really keep up with football. But I had a bookmark I made, and I want to start with this. This is from Sam Herder, who writes for Hero Sports, and he like a guy who do a lot of FCS stuff. He listed some percentages of players that transfer from FCS to FBS, and he said that 19% of the players that transfer from FCS to FBS played at least 600 snaps. That's like the average number of snaps that most guys play a year. 32% played at least 50. 32% played at least 500 snaps. 55% played less than 300 snaps. And of the 2023 all conference players that transferred up, 48% of them played less than 300 snaps. So going to FBS is not an end all be all. You know what I'm saying? We say this all the time, but I was glad to have some numbers to put behind it. Um, you're not guaranteed nothing. And guys who are all conference guys that went up, they playing almost half of them aren't even playing. So that to me that's a number that a lot of people need to look at. Is the number of guys who actually get substantial playing time is like 1 in 5. So I don't like to sound like I be discouraging people because you got the right to do what you want. You're a college athlete. You can go in where you want to do what you want. But I think a lot of guys need to take into account these numbers because it don't work in your favor.
Yeah. We've been saying that. We say that all the time, but like you say, we just really never had any numbers to put behind it. We just kind of eyeball from the outside looking in to see. Well, at least I know I do. The players that I know that transfer out of FAMU, I try and look at their team to see if they're getting any burn or what have you. And but having these kind of numbers kind of help back up what a lot of us believe happened in the transfer portal.
Yeah, like I said, I like to have numbers just to look at to kind of get an idea of what's going on. We got basketball action taking place tonight, and on the women's side, got Prairie View and Alcorn. I think they just tipped off, so that's something y'all can check out when y'all leave from here. Don't leave us yet, but you know what I'm saying. If you got us on your phone, you can put that on your TV or whatever. You know what I'm saying, and keep tabs on. I let me say this because since my boy D posted that link, I hate hate, man. I hate the fact that they switched that they split up the basketball game. I know a lot of people don't care, but I hate that they put those games on Thursday because the attendance I think is just gonna be brutal. It was to me it was just a good thing for people to be able to catch two games for for the price of one. Like now you got now you gotta go to three different games. You gotta spend three different dollars. I mean some of them they tickets $15. So you spending $30, you take two people three times to go to basketball games, and I think it always was great to go to both on a Saturday night and then on a Monday night. Um, and I think the ladies getting the short end of the stick. Now if y'all can turn out, man, turn out for these games. Obviously, Southern will have a game this Thursday, so I'm at home. I'm gonna have to kind of couple of them games. I'm probably gonna have to make a decision on if I'm gonna go live from the mini dome. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I
You
do
need
want
to
to catch a
do
couple of them games. I might do it, man, because ain't gonna be that many people and ain't gonna be that much noise. So
it. You crazy. I know,
I could go.
fam. We trying to get some attendance at their games. I know they got February 15th or February 14th. They having a basketball homecoming, and I believe that those games are against Jackson State on a Saturday. And there's a bus leaving from Tampa going up there to the game. So at least the athletic director and people they trying to do things to get more attendance. But I think we got to get the kids to go to the game because they right there on campus and they can walk over there and go, but they just tend not to go to the games.
Yeah, I agree. And this is something that we kind of back and forth. And shout out to Big Soldier out there, man, holding it down. Up there in the Delta. Shout out to him, man, holding it down. I agree with you. I think it starts with the student body and the local community. If the students don't turn out, and you really only counting on the certain people who always go to games. Especially at Southern. There's a group of people who at every game. So they're gonna always be there pretty much. And the students turn out for certain games. We got Jackson and Alcorn at home this year, so those games will be well attended. And of course, Saturday game against Grambling, everybody gonna be there because it's Grambling. So I would like for people to turn out for those other games. Because we had a really good environment Friday um Saturday night. And the crowd was into it. They had high schools there. And a lot of different things. Dude won $700 off a half court shot at the game. So salute to him. That was a great thing to see.
That's right.
But Monday night I didn't go to the game because my wife wanted to stay home and watch the Vikings because that's her team, and obviously they got they got beat they got beat down. So that was a miserable night at home. But I would have loved to have been in the dome at that time too. But we'll be in the house on Saturday, and like I say, man, I hope that attendance pop off everywhere, because there are some great ball players in the SWAC, man, and I think people on men and women, I think there's a lot of ladies that can ball, and I think y'all should really, if you can get there. Now I know a lot of people are not in town, and it's hard to, come back to town for a basketball game. Like my old man used to always say, he ain't traveling for no basketball game. Um, he was like, I go to a football game on the road, but I ain't going to a basketball game. I'm like, what's the difference? But it's just one of the things. I really, like I say, there's just certain places that you just games are good to be at. Alcorn, Jackson, um, before they built their new center, Grambling in that little hot box they used to have. TSU is a place that always is a good environment for basketball. So if you're not in your area, man, you close to somebody else, pop out and catch a game, man. Yeah, I'm almost begging, man, for people to turn out. So and shout out, and before we go any further, man, shout out to Willie Bolden, man. He blessed us with tickets all the time for games. I gave my Bethune Cookman tickets for the women's game last week to my folks so they could go. So salute to him for doing that, man. He always look out for us. basketball and baseball. So salute to him, and hopefully we can continue to get people to turn out to these games.
Yeah.
But I know, like I say, we gonna probably circle back to basketball a little bit. I wanted to point it out since my boy D posted that link right there. Um,
I'm like your dad. I don't think I probably won't travel either for the basketball game. I don't know if it's the fact that they so short. Seem like they just like what, an hour and a half maybe at the most.
but typical,
Basketball.
a typical basketball game be like 2 hours, but a SWAC basketball game it might run you 2.5 hours because
Oh,
because the referees, man,
it's
they
gonna
got the
be
replay
fouls
everything.
everywhere.
They're gonna be fouls everywhere. It's gonna be replays out the you know what. Um, but all right, man. So we like we're circling back to basketball. I wanted to say this before we get into our topic for the day. There was a rumor going around because basically a kid had tagged Coach Dooley in a post that he got an offer from Southern, and everybody went haywire. You know what I'm saying? I told my wife, and I don't like to curse on this show, but I told her I was gonna quote her. I told her that it's that is a rumor that Dooley might be at Southern, and she said, "Fuck no." So I don't like to curse on this show, but I told her I was gonna quote her verbatim. So that she was not happy. She was like, "I'm not going to no games," but it came out that wasn't true. So I think a lot of people really need to, what I'm saying, just chill. But I wanted to share that. I meant to. I couldn't do it last week because we had Traquan on the show. Salute to him, man. That was a great show. But let's jump into our topic for the day, and I'm gonna let Jerome start it off because we had a little. Well, I know a couple people had a little fun with him in the group chat, but we doing our top 5 games of the year, and I'm gonna let Jerome do his first, and then I'll come through after that. And you can name them, and you can say why. Why those are your favorite games of the year, or whatever. So the floor is
Want me to
yours.
go through all 5 of them?
You can do it like
Real
that,
quick.
however you want.
Oh, okay. Here my top 5 games of the past football season. Number 1 game was South Carolina State at FAMU. That was a come from behind victory by FAMU to win that game. We came from behind in the fourth quarter to pull that game out. Another point about that game being a big game was it was Cole's first home game, trying to protect the win streak, and it was Chennis Berry's first game at South Carolina State. So it was a big game, and we ended up beating the eventual MEAC champ. So that was these games ain't in no particular order. Okay, so my second one, I got Southern at FAMU. We end up beating the eventual SWAC West champion in a good game. That was a hard fought game for the first half. I think most of that ball game was 7-3, and I think the points were scored on a punt return and a field goal or something like that. But it was a tight game for the most part until the end. That was a big game for me. Then, of course, when FAMU traveled to Jackson State, that was one of my top 5 games of the season. To me, that was the SWAC championship game. Be it, you can feel how you want to feel about that, but that to me, that's what it was. And Jackson defense came out in the second half of that game and slammed the door on FAMU and shut that game down because in the first half, FAMU had momentum and it looked like they were going to kind of pull away from Jackson. But in the second half, Jackson defense came out and shut it down. And they went on, as everybody knows, they went on to be and win the Celebration Bowl. It is right here, my 4th game, Mississippi Valley at FAMU for obvious reasons. FAMU lost to an O and whatever team. Lost the win streak. At home, winning streak was broken. It was 2 games in a row, two games, SWAC games in a row was something that hadn't been done since they had joined the SWAC. So it was a lot of underlying currents and stuff like that. And we all know the fallout that came behind that game because of that game. Then my fifth game would be FAMU at Bama State for the homecoming. I enjoyed that because I personally went to that game and it was a great atmosphere. I had a good time the night before. I had a good time on the road trip traveling up there. The atmosphere was good, both bands, the crowd. It was just a good game, and icing on top was FAMU won. And then my honorable mention would be FAMU Alabama A&M because everybody had pretty much counted FAMU out after they had lost them 2 games in a row. And it was set up for Alabama A&M to come in there and take another victory from FAMU at home. But they stood up and kind of showed a little toughness and perseverance and pulled the game out. So they're my top games from last year.
All right, well, that's a strong list. Like I said, my list is a little bit more all over the place, and a lot of these games are not necessarily like games that were like close or whatever, but they're games that caught my interest. And I will say that JSU FAMU game it is one of my top games of the year because I had the privilege to listen to the whole game in traffic trying to get on campus for homecoming. So when we got close to campus, the game was early. The game was like midway first quarter. By the time we parked, the game was almost in the fourth quarter. So I had a chance to listen to pretty much the whole game, other than the fourth quarter, really, because we were listening to it on the way to the state to school. So I had a chance to listen to that game, and I thought that game really, honestly, kind of lived up to what a lot of people, for all the talk for all summer, that game kind of lived up to that. It was big plays on both sides, turnovers by both defenses, offenses, both made big plays. And then, like JSU did for the most part all season, they slammed the door in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. 2 late touchdowns kind of sealed the deal out. And that game lived up to a lot of what was, a whole year of talking. So I thought that was a game that definitely made my list. The game that one of the game that was a real surprise to me this season is Texas Southern beating Prairie View right out the gate. Man, that made the season so topsy turvy. Not just that they won, but how they won. They went up to PV and basically dominated the game, and they won it 27-9. The game really wasn't close outside of maybe the first quarter and a half. And TSU did, TSU looked like the better team in that game, and I think that sent Prairie View on a little bit of a spin and kind of had them, upside down for a while, and they never really got themselves fully right. And I think that was a huge game for TSU to get them some momentum. And a game that I don't even think it's a great game, but I just love. I just think the way it basically started to wrap up was just crazy to me. And that's Texas Southern. That was an ugly game. That was an ugly game, man. Like if you like offensive football, that game was the worst. It was 14-0 at the half. TSU scored 1 touchdown on a pick six. They got the other touchdown on a short field after a fumble. Southern Southern scored like 12 points in the third quarter. And then, the score was like 17-12, and Southern gave up a safety, and it's 19-12. And I was punching walls at the house, man. I was going crazy. I was highly upset. And TSU had some ridiculous clock management issues and a horrible punt. And Southern cashed in on a touchdown and sent the game to overtime and won it in overtime, which is kind of what Southern did all year. So that game, the ending was what made that game a game to me. And I love Southern's other overtime games into that. Make one big game out of it. Because none of those games were great, but Southern found some kind of way to win them at the end. Prairie View game was they came back from like 14 down and took the game to overtime, won it in overtime off of two sacks to stop PV. And then the Bethune-Cookman game, that was the ugliest game I've ever seen in my life. The weather was ugly, the game was ugly. 3-0 for for 3.5 quarters before Southern finally scored, and then the game with the 5 overtimes, and it was just fun. I said it on the show, but I say it now. I don't know who the guy was, but he was working with, I guess, the Cat Eye Network from Bethune-Cookman, and he walked. I walked up to him, and he was like, "Man, this is the greatest game I've ever seen in my life." I'm like, "Bro, this is the worst game I've ever seen in my life." But it's all in the eye of the beholder. You know what I'm saying? So I love those two. I love all three of those games in there. A game I thought was a good game was Valley and Pine Bluff. Those two teams went to war, man. Valley. That kind of was what turned Valley's season. I won't say turn it around because they didn't win, but the one game. But I think that's what kind of started to make them be more competitive. That was a 21-21 game going into the fourth quarter before Pine Bluff scored 2 touchdowns to pull away. And the game, weather delay and all of that, but both them teams fought hard. And the game that I really thought was probably one of the better games, and it was a non-conference game, and that was Clark beating Bethune. And not because they beat them, but the kid made a 56-yard field goal to win the game. Anytime a kid make a kick like that, and when I don't know if y'all saw the game, but when you look at that kicker from Clark, Atlanta, man, you wouldn't think he can kick it 30 yards. The kid was like a fire hydrant with legs. But he booted it, and I was running around the house, and my wife was like, "That's not your team. Why are you so happy?" I like, the kid made a 56-yard field goal. It's like you got to get excited for that, and so that's why I put that game as probably one of my top games. So those are pretty much the games that I thought stood out to me this season. There weren't really a ton of games that were like just yeah, that was a good game. No, that game was more for the after effects than the actual game itself. But
Jackson was making a lot of their games look easy. That's why a lot of times when they played, it was looking easy. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't really a lot of knockdown, drag out games. FAMU and Prairie View, that was a rough one for FAMU.
Hey, and this game here, I thought that game was gonna be a game for a long time, man. I was coming home from work and the score was like 7-7. I was like, let me get home, because my wife even called me. She was like, the Alcorn game tied at 7. I'm like, what? Let me ever get home. And by the time I get home, she pulled away. I'm like, well, whatever. But
same thing with Bethune too. Bethune, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this was one of the seasons that didn't necessarily have a lot of nail biter type games, but they had a lot of games that stood out to me, in just different ways. And he threw that one on there. You must have missed it. He kind of talked a little bit lower when he got.
What they asked you if I put on there?
The Valley game.
I put the Valley game on there. I put the Valley game. I said Valley. How can I not put the Valley game on there? That was historical. Y'all gonna remember that for years and years and years to come.
Oh, I'm gonna definitely remember, because, man, like I said, we were sitting in Mumford, and shout out to my boy Desmond, man. He told me, he was like, man, you're like, Valley beating family. You're like, what, man? I was like, they'll pull away like they always do. Like, I ain't worried about. And somebody was like, man, Valley's still leading in the second half. I'm like, what? And when the game was final, bro, I jumped up out my seat in the stadium. Everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. But, that's just one of them games where
the witch is dead.
Hey,
y'all done killed the wicked witch of the east. Y'all was happy about that.
You got to celebrate the little victories, man. You know, we didn't get it. We Valley did what we couldn't do, so I had to celebrate them.
But we gonna rise. That, like I say, like I said about that game, that changed a lot with FAMU. The coaching staff changed after that, and like I was saying, if you listen to Coach Cozy on the Orange and Green Strike Zone, you'll hear Orange G Strike Zone. You'll hear his comments about the effect that game had on the rest of the season and the team and the players and stuff.
All right, we got Big Soldier in the house. What's going on, Big Soldier, man? What's happening with you?
No, ain't nothing much chilling. What's good, guys? What's good?
What's going on, man? You wanna throw your
JT,
top five list out here?
Huh?
So you wanna throw your top five games out here?
Oh,
You got if you wanna
it was
just
so it
pick.
was so many really good games. You had got Prairie View, Grambling was a classic. JSU FAMU. I felt like the Mad City Classic could have been a classic because Bama A&M almost came back for a second. Let me see. Let me think of another one. I'm gonna say Alcorn, Grambling, and BCU, Alabama State.
Yeah, that Bethune game got a little interesting because they scored like two touchdowns like back to back and really made it a game. Um, I know one game you always like is Pine Bluff and Valley. I mean Pine Bluff and Alcorn. Pine Bluff looked like they're gonna win that game. They was up 14-0 on Alcorn, but Alcorn pulled it out. That was a tight game, kind of good. Um, I like I said, I think there's a lot of games that you can throw on this list, man. And I don't know what game it was, but whatever game the Texas other coaches had their positions on their shirts, I think that's a great game because
Big Soldier,
I
you interviewing for the head coach?
Hey, hold on, y'all.
all right, but he up there. I think he up that way, man. You know, Valley coach position still open. he
That's
might be
what I'm saying.
he might be in the middle of a meeting right now. Y'all don't be surprised if we all wearing Valley shirts in a couple of weeks with our positions on them.
Yeah, he gonna keep the tradition alive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna make it happen, man. But like I said, I thought this was, there was some ugly games out there, and there was some, some good games. Now I'm gonna do my number one worst game of the year, and that was Southern and Nichols, man. That was the worst game I've ever seen in my life. I left that game. I left that game immediately after halftime, man. Like human human jukebox marched out the field. We marched out the stadium. I I really almost left that game in the middle of the second quarter. I did that once before in my life. Um, we had played Alcorn one year. Matter of fact, it was 2016. My grandma had just passed, so I had drove from Florida to Baton Rouge to go to the funeral. Went to the funeral. Went to the cemetery up in Mississippi. It rained. My dad was like, the game started at 4. If you want my tickets, you could go. So we left from Woodville, drove hour back to Baton Rouge, went to mama house, changed clothes, got to the stadium. The weather delay. I was like, all right, I ain't gonna miss nothing. I'm gonna get here before I'm here before kickoff, and I thought I might be here afterwards. And Alcorn, first drive, they starting quarterback John Gibbs get hurt. Lenore's Footman come in. His first play of the game was an 82-yard touchdown run, and they never looked back.
The
It was
rest is
28 to
history.
nothing. It was 28 to nothing in the middle of the second quarter, and it was raining. And that was my wife's first Southern game at home. And she looked at me and she was like, "We really gonna sit in the rain for this?" And I was like, "No, I guess we could leave." And I got back to the house, and everybody was like, "I thought you'd be home sooner than that." I was like, "Man, I tried to hold on. But that was the only game I ever left earlier than that Nichols game, and I almost left that game in the middle of the second quarter. It was just ridiculous, but that was my all-time worst game of the year. So I hope we never have another one of them again. That game was just ugly.
Well, you already know my worst game of the season. But I ain't.
Your
I ain't
worst
gotta
game
keep
is
bringing it up. I ain't gotta
your,
keep bringing it up. It's down in history.
your worst game is everybody else's favorite game.
Yeah, I agree. I
But
agree. I'll be hearing about that one forever. But we got them early in the season, I believe, this year. So they better hurry up and find a coach.
yeah, they really need to do something. They kind of stalling a little bit. But speaking of schedules, have y'all has FAMU schedule come out yet officially?
No, no. We've been trying to piece it together off of everybody else's schedule and try and make our reservations and stuff, but no, not yet.
Well, I want to look something up before I say what I gotta say. I don't wanna say something that's gonna be ruled invalid. Um, Prairie View schedule dropped. I thought it was a pretty decent schedule, but they playing North American University, which I hate. I hate those games, but um, those kind of games just drive me nutty. But they are playing. They do have a decent non-conference schedule outside them two. Um, Southern schedule kind of dropped yesterday. And this is why I want to say what I want to say. Uh, oh, this ain't the right. I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to make sure I don't speak too rashly. Um, Yesterday Southern dropped their schedule, kind of sort of. They dropped their home schedule, which I was expecting. You know what I'm saying? The complete schedule. I don't know who drops the home schedule and not the rest of the schedule. They ain't dropped nothing else since then. They dropped that yesterday. And they ain't dropped nothing else since then. So I like the home schedule. I like it a lot. We got FAMU at home. We got Jackson at home. We got TSU at home. We got Prairie View at home. We got Bama State at home for the first time since 2016. So that's a nice home schedule. That's the complete SWAC smoke home schedule, man. We got Bama State, Jackson State, FAMU at home, man. So that's SWAC smoke all year long. But
We
I wanna know what this other game we got. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they drop that because I think that's just crazy to drop one half of the schedule and not drop the other half.
how
It's
many?
like
That's what, 6 home games? Five,
five.
five,
Yeah, we got five home games,
and then the
two
Bayou
neutral site
Classic.
games. Yeah,
Yeah.
and me X Flag Challenge. So we got two neutral site games, five home games, and so that leaves us with four true road games. I think one of them is Fresno State, I believe, um, and Alcorn and Pine Bluff.
Mm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see. I want to see the rest of it. I don't know why they leaving people hanging. They ain't even say stay tuned. I thought my eyes was playing tricks on me. I was clicking the picture to see if it scrolled. You know what I'm saying? If I missed it. Um, I think this the year we go out there unless something changed. But I think this is the year we go out there.
Fam, you got Jackson coming to brag, Bama State coming to brag. Uh, I want to say Alcorn is coming to brag this year, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll have us a nice little swag home schedule too.
Yeah, that's the game that had yet been played. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't
Yeah,
played Alcorn yet, so
yeah.
that's a thing. And,
And
and
that's five. We 5 years in and haven't played them yet.
yeah, so finally it come around. With the rotation of the schedule. And like my boy D said, man, Southern and Jackson used to always play near my birthday in the middle of October. I was born on a Thursday before we played Jackson State one year on Thursday, October 14th. We played them on the 16th in 1976. I was born that Thursday, and we actually won that game. So my birthday in Jackson State always been aligned, and now they playing this game in like September and all that. That don't feel right to me. So hopefully they get that back under control. I saw some people from Prairie View talking about Southern playing it for homecoming. It ain't. It didn't be us last two times we played them on homecoming, but that was the only game that really could be homecoming. Like you ain't gonna play Jackson State for homecoming early in the season. You ain't gonna play FAMU for homecoming late in the season. And Texas Southern game is the week before the week before our Bayou Classic bye week. So ain't nobody going to homecoming on November 15th. So y'all was
So
the only y'all
what
was
you
the only
gonna do
game.
this year though? How you gonna do it this year? Cause you
What?
got this the season. You talking about this schedule now coming up? Prairie View would have to be homecoming.
Yeah, they are homecoming because
Oh, okay.
like I said, we typically ain't gonna have homecoming outside of October. So
Right.
that game fell in because we played FAMU at the end of October and we played TSU November 15th, which is we got the Bayou Classic bye week after that. So
Yeah.
I don't think nobody gonna try to sit in no November weather for homecoming. So I mean, hell, we played all court for homecoming last year. So it ain't at Southern we don't play. We don't play a lot of easy teams for homecoming. Now we did play Lincoln the year before for homecoming, which but
But
we always Southern always play hard. Typically play games that I was like, why the hell y'all playing these people for homecoming? You know what I'm saying? So
with these
like,
SWAC schedules, you can't help but play a decent team on homecoming. It pretty much, is because you locked into playing certain games at home, and most schools have those weekends already set up. Like FAMU, it's always like the last weekend in October is going to be homecoming, kind of right around Halloween in that area, the November 1st maybe, right up in there, October, that whatever weekend that is. So whoever the team that happened to be there, typically that's just so we had Grambling, remember? A couple years
yeah, I
back.
remember that game.
Yeah.
Like I
So
said,
that's
just
just I think that's a product of the conference alignment and having so many conference games.
yeah, when when you got a team who kind of schedule that way, you know what I'm saying? Your schedule is kind of set a certain way, like you say, certain games will kind of fall in that spot. I, I would rather not have a conference game for homecoming. Like because I think homecoming should be a game that everybody can go relax and you can watch your team win and have a good time and go home. I don't really want to be sweating a homecoming game. It's like
Yeah.
that's the time everybody's there, so you want to have a great performance. But if you play in a conference game that you might lose, you're gonna have people who might not come back the next time because they only come for homecoming, and they're like, oh, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I rather just skip all of that and play, not Lincoln or nobody like that, but play a D2 team or somebody just to give yourself a opportunity to have a good
Didn't y'all
homecoming.
have Edward Waters or somebody out there one time? Edward Waters?
Yeah, we played them, but we played them early in the season though. Because usually we play somebody like that for our Pete Richardson Classic at the beginning of the season. But yeah, I don't. I hate being stressed out at homecoming. When I was at Southern, we played FAMU and I think Jackson for homecoming one year. Well, not 1 year, but I know 1 year we played FAMU for homecoming and that sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like that was horrible. I think we lost. And when I was at Southern, I don't even think we won a homecoming because we played Nichols for homecoming. We lost that. We played FAMU for homecoming. We lost that. I think we played TSU for homecoming. We lost that. We used to never win homecoming, and that's horrible, man.
Man, it's been so long I can't even remember them games. I remember the game, but I can't remember who won and stuff. That was that was a long time ago, 1985. Last of the
That's
real up there on the hill. The set was on. We still had the set. It ain't like that fam new up there now. Real rattlers know what I'm talking about. They done tore all our dorms down and built new dorms where our dorms were, for the most part.
Man, we got to cut that Prairie View winning on homecoming out, man. That last time y'all won, y'all left y'all coach with us. we was never right since. So now if we beat y'all and y'all won't leave Coach Jackson here, I'd be more than welcome to that. But y'all left Coach Dooley last time y'all beat us. But we got to get back to beating PV and Baton Rouge consistently. But it's only fair since we don't lose to them out there. So I'm looking forward to that game. Though it's always fun to see them Panthers. You know what I'm saying? and I got a niece that went to Prairie View, so she show up with her kids, all in a purple and gold, and I'm like, man, y'all need to learn, y'all need to get right, you know what I'm saying, get right real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna see what's going on with with the rest of the schedule, and hopefully everybody else's schedule start to drop soon. That is the one thing I like to see when when it come out, to kind of look at everybody's schedule and engage where they at, and
I'm not predicting this year, so don't ask me for no prediction. Not doing it. I'm not falling into that trap this year right here. I don't have no idea what's gonna happen.
Hey, that's the beauty of it, man. You know what I'm saying? And then to go back and look and see and see where you was,
Right. What did he say?
He said, Purvey said they scheduled for the playoffs, but they scheduled North American. I know, I know we got a couple PV people in there, man. If y'all could tell me why that game was on the schedule, did somebody back out on y'all? Because if somebody backed out on y'all, then I'll let it slide. But if that was a choice, that's a horrible choice, man. Like I don't like them games.
That man need to get some growing pains in. Y'all can't force feed him all that fast. Let him get one in.
Hey, he gonna get his, he gonna get his, but not them, no, man. I don't want nobody to play them kind of teams, man. Just leave that be.
Are they like Lincoln? Who is that team from California? What was that team name?
Lincoln.
They like that? Oh, man.
They pretty much are. Now Lincoln, I don't know how similar they are, because I remember TSU played them, and I kind of looked at their team and checked them out. Lincoln was just, to me, Lincoln was like the longest yard. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
they got off the bus like like the longest yard, and I'm like, okay, these dudes is gonna be a problem. You know.
Like before they left California, they were riding around looking for Day. Like, come on, go check over there and see if he over there. Tell him to come on. We got a game.
I swear, man, they had a couple of dudes get off their bus, and I was like, what's going on? We got a SWAC women's score right now. Tech Southern is up on Jackson State 41-25. TSU women might be for real.
Dang.
They playing some good ball.
Jackson women was getting it in a couple games last weekend.
Now we'll see if they can hold them off, because JSU came back on Alabama and them on Monday, so we'll see if they can hold them off.
Right.
But we'll see. This time of year is Texas Southern favorite time of the year is basketball. So they love basketball, which I don't fault them.
But
like I said,
I haven't seen them men play this year.
Yeah, I kind of watched our game with them, but when they broadcast was on, they had no audio, and that's hard to me to watch a basketball game with no audio. And like you just seeing the guys going up and down the floor, and you don't know really what's going on.
Yeah.
And at the point that I turned it on, we was in the midst of letting go a 20-point lead, so I was really not in the mood to really watch that. But I turned it back on and off a couple of times. But I haven't really watched too many teams play right now. But I'm gonna be getting in the mix. The more this thing keep popping off. SWAC tournament is in Atlanta this year, so a lot of people was asking for it there. I expect those people to turn out now. So,
well, it's a lot of people in Atlanta, so Atlanta can support a lot of things.
Oh yeah, it should be a pretty good draw. I just, like I said, I think just it's hard to go to a 10 o'clock basketball game on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? So it just, certain games just not gonna get the crowd because it's just kind of tough to get there.
Yeah. You have to
Yeah,
schedule a
so
whole vacation around that. Get
yeah,
all
you do.
be there the whole week and treat it like they used to do in Lakeland to the state tournament here in Florida. Get down there, them games, you buy that pass and be in there all day, go in and out.
Yeah, I think that's the best. Give you an option of catching multiple games.
Mm-hmm.
I like I said, I love tournaments, man, because I go and stay all day if I could. I unless my team play early and they lose, then I don't want no parts of it. But if we play late, then I don't mind. What I'm saying, staying. My
It,
enjoyment of things is always predicated on what Southern doing. If Southern losing, man, I don't want nothing to do. None of
it's at those tournaments. It's like every time you get ready to walk out, you see another player on the court warming up. You be like, man, let me just watch. Let me just watch
Yeah,
a
you
little
know what
bit of
I'm saying.
this.
Let me just catch just a little bit more of this game, and then we'll be up out of here.
Yeah.
Now I remember a couple years ago, my high school where they was in the midst of a multiple year state championship run. But this was like one of those COVID years, and so we had the tournament in Lake Charles, championship, and they wouldn't let you stay in the game after it was over.
They
So
was
you had
closing
to
out the
leave and
gym
come back in. You had to leave and come back in.
and buy another ticket.
That's what they were trying to get people to do,
Oh,
and so it's like we kind of slipped in, you know what I'm saying, and just didn't slip out.
yeah, they have to just sell the pass and get their money up front and split it up like that. But they were trying to get everybody individually, I guess. I don't
Oh yeah,
know.
they were trying to get their money, man. You know what I'm saying? And I drove 2 hours, man. I'm not about to spend more ticket money, man.
I'd have been hiding in the bathroom.
Yeah, like I said, we got the one game when it was ending, so we play next. I'm not about to leave and come back in. Y'all
Right.
shouldn't have let
That's
us
how
in.
you
You know what
plan
I'm
it to
saying?
get there. You plan there to get to see the end of the game before your game. That's typically how
Yeah,
we do.
because like I said, I'm the kind of person I need to be at games early. I don't know. I think I get it from my dad. My dad always used to want to get the games early because he want to see warm ups and all that stuff. I don't function well if I get that game like right at tip off or right at kickoff. I don't function well. I had to be there. I had to be at football games, like especially home games. I'm in the stadium before the team even come on the field. That's how early we be in there. It been times I got there and the people not even ready to take a ticket yet. So I just like to be in there early. I don't know why. If I'm late, I'm a mess. I hate being late to games, man. It just That's why I don't do groups because people want to show up when they want to show up, and I just ain't. I'm just not built like that.
Shoot, even with my own family, I send everybody their own ticket. We all know where the seats are. We know where the tailgate is. Hey, it's a free fall. Come in when you decide to come in, because I get in there early too.
But I just saw this coming from Cook, man. What sorry school was that, man? That was Scotlandville, man. The at the time the best team in Baton Rouge in basketball, man. We was running the city in basketball. We ain't so hot right now, but we had won the state championship 15 times and won 8. So we was on a nice little roll there. But it's
Oh,
yeah, like I said, I just don't deal with slow people, man. Like I say, when I was raised that way. When that car started to pull out, if you ain't in it, you better find your own way there. It don't matter who it is. If you're not in there, sorry for you.
yeah. I watched Jackson. They were Jackson and Alabama State basketball game this weekend. Jackson got a cat. Number one, he was filling it up from behind the 3-point line, and they got two big dudes down there in the middle that was getting it in. They were putting in some work. And then Bama State, they play like they got a whole team full of Latrell Sprewell type players. They get
Oh,
up
that
and
was my
down.
dog, man.
Man,
That
them
was my
cats get
dog
up and
back in the
down the
day.
court quick, boy. Them cats. Jackson will score. That dude hit a three. Shoot, before they look around, clip, clip, clip. Shoot, they'll land that thing right back up. But Jackson held
man,
them off, with the threes. But it was
man,
Bama State look like they're gonna be. They look like they'll be a tough out.
oh
They
yeah,
will be in the SWAC.
they got a solid team, man. They're athletic as hell. They got some really solid shooters. CJ Hines is a good guard for them. Um, TJ Madlock is he a guy who he rebound extremely well, man. He's not the biggest guy, but he can get a lot of boards for you. But like you were saying, Latrell Sprewell, man, that was my dog when I was younger, man. Like
Oh,
that was one of the first basketball jerseys I bought, man. Then
pretty well. Oh, he pushed it.
uh-huh.
He pushed the
Oh,
court.
he coast to coast, man, and dunked that thing.
He pushed it
That
before Russell Westbrook.
yeah, and he was throwing that thing down, man. That was my
Yeah.
dog, man. When I had my basketball dreams, I thought I was gonna be like that, but I didn't grow enough. You know what I'm saying? I topped out at 6 foot. I couldn't get no taller than that, so I was pretty bad off there.
Yeah, when I saw them this weekend, that's what I thought of, the way they get up and down the court. But Jackson was too much for him. That dude was hitting them threes. I know he had to make at least 6, 7 of them. He was deuce, 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 back to back. And then crowd started getting into it. And they kind of just walked away at the end.
I'm gonna throw out a name for y'all, man. That I don't know you if you have watched watched some SWAC basketball. Um, this kid named Dr. Bradley from Pine Bluff. Dude. First 2 games, he scored 30 plus points in his first 2 games. He averaging like 25 and a half points right now. The dude is filling it up, and he
Is
ain't
it
even shooting a ton of threes, man.
is
He
he
getting it
scoring
done all
all of
over the
their
court.
points? Is he scoring like 60% of their points?
He is putting up a decent amount now, but they scoring pretty high right now too.
No.
Pablo on them team that score a lot of points. They don't play a lot of defense, but they love to shoot them threes.
I gotta see them. Once this college football playoff and NFL kind of wind down a little bit, I'll be able to lock in a little bit more on Saturdays.
Yeah,
Some of
like I
the
say,
Saturday matchups.
gotta lock in, man, because this. I always say, man, when you watch SWAC basketball, man, you don't never know what you don't never know what you're gonna see. You might see the greatest game in the world, or you might see 2 teams go combine 2 for 12, 2 for 20 from three. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what you're gonna see when you walk in that gym, but
I don't want to see that.
it ain't never gonna be boring now. Trust me, I have yet to see a boring SWAC game. It might not be the greatest, but you can find some entertainment in there. I will say this, and this gonna sound crazy, but I was at one game, man, and no, I'm not saying this to make light of the situation, but we was at a game one year, man, and there, something was going on the other side of Mini Dome, and we're like, what's going on? It turned out somebody died, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude had a heart attack and died. So it's like you just never know what you might see. Now, like I said, I ain't saying that to. I ain't saying that to make fun of somebody for dying, because that's serious business. But you just, like I said, you just never know what you might see, man. Like I just felt bad for this person, because they was visiting in town. They wouldn't even they were there to see family. So it's just one of the things. But like I said, it's never dull, man. So, but I will suggest, if you go to a SWAT game, man, bring you something comfortable to sit on, because the refs gonna slow that game way down. They'll slow it way down.
They did. They did. They made that game this weekend long. I agree.
I wanted to ask you on Jerome. I don't know if you know. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. If you could, maybe you could look into it. Do you know how much officials make in the SWAC, like in football, roughly?
No, I don't know. No, them cats keep it a secret. Like I don't know, cause it's a lot of stuff being involved. They have to pay for their own travel and hotel and stuff. So, but no, I don't know what they make.
They be keeping it under wraps, huh? They don't. They
Yeah,
don't. I know one
yeah,
thing, boy. At the end of the game, they get the hell out of there.
they better.
And them
Somebody
boys
don't like
get
what they did. Somebody don't like what they called. I don't care.
them boys.
50% of the crowd don't like it. That's at every game you go to.
And they
So
hop into that blacked out SUV and they be gone. Boy. Okay.
that's right. You gotta have your own special parking space that's hidden off away from everybody. All of that. They have all of that.
Hey, like you say, hey, you don't know what you don't know what did happen over the course of them 3 hours, man. Somebody might be that made something rough and tick off a group of people out there.
Typically, though, after the game, they run off the court and then they just sit and wait in the locker room for everybody to leave. You know, most of the fans and everybody kind of get out of there. Take your time getting dressed. And before the game, you get there so early and then they park you off in your little area, wherever it is going to be. Don't nobody, by the time everybody's showing up, all the officials pretty much already in there. And that's where basketball, all of them.
Yeah, like I say, I was talking to my old man and he asked me, I was like, man, I'm gonna see if I can find out. But hey, since it's like trying
I
to
know a SWAC official. I'll ask him. I'll reach out and ask him, but he's not gonna tell me. I
he
used
gonna
to
say
work
what you
with
need,
huh?
what you need to know for.
Yeah, he ain't gonna tell me. Them cats they be tripping.
I I had thought about trying to reach out to somebody like somebody in that department, and
I guess
but
you
I don't
could
want to.
Google it. You could probably Google it, I guess. I don't know.
I thought about having somebody like that on the show, but I don't. I don't think that could be a. I don't
Official.
think that'd be a. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a great show because I don't. I know the comments gonna be crazy.
I don't know about that. I could probably reach out to that guy, see, but I haven't talked to him in a while. But I see him. He worked quite a few SWAC games. I see him a lot of. I think he worked the Classic this year, Florida Classic this year, and he worked the what's that game in the Jackson State play in it
Oh,
used to be
the Southern
Tennessee
Heritage
State.
Classic.
Yeah. I saw him working that before. Yeah, he worked quite a few games.
Yeah, they do. They do park in Lot E. If you're a Southern fan, I'm not telling y'all to do. I'm not telling y'all to do nothing now. Don't approach them. But they park in Lot E, where we used to park at. I used to see them like before the games and stuff.
You got it,
A
but
lot.
see, you getting there early. He getting there early. Edwin getting there early like me, because we get there as soon as they open the parking lot. So I drive by and I see the officials walking in. A lot of time they be going over to the Lawson Center to get dressed and stuff. But if they be wanting you to know it's them because they had a whole, little
Yeah,
polo
you know
shirt
what I'm
on, they be tight. You know what I'm saying? They got their little bag rolling behind them.
saying.
So, early, early before the game, they be proud. They be after the game, they be wanting to.
Yeah, after the game, after the game
That's
they
when
duck
they
off.
want to play it in.
After the game they hop in that dark that tinted out SUV and they disappear because they
Yes,
where they
sir.
where they where they leave the field is where we leave the stadium. So they'll run you almost trying to get up out of there. Like,
Yes, sir.
but you know that lot where we park at is the prime activity because that's where the visiting team dress at in Seymour Gym. So you know you see everybody milling around and stuff. So it's just it's a nice little area to let people know where they at. You know,
Mhm.
hey, but
Yeah,
it,
I drive by when I drive by the stadium to get to my parking spot down on the end, and I drive by the Lawson Center and the practice field, and I see them. They be rolling their little bag. I be like, "Yep, there they go right there." But they good, man. The officials don't. They don't have no. They human, man. They make mistakes. And it be happening fast.
yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is bang bang plays. You know, you can't really. It's easy to call stuff when you're sitting back and you watching it. You know what I'm saying? You can always pick apart everything. So that's a job I wouldn't want anyway. So salute to everybody that's an official in any sport. My officiating days, I umped a 8-year-old baseball game for like 2 innings, and I was like, I'm done. So I don't,
And,
I don't ever want nothing to do with it, man.
you have to get it right quick, man. It happened quick. So normally if it's a good officiating team, they got somebody on there that's good for everything. So, but they make mistakes too.
Oh yeah, it just their mistakes is seen by everybody, so you
Yeah.
can't you. But hey, y'all gonna hear me talk about SWAC refs a lot in the next upcoming weeks because they do. I think they worse in basketball than football. They just butcher games, but it is what it
Basketball.
is. They let the game get out of hand. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't keep the emotions in check till it's too late. And then you got a lot of pushing and shoving going on and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, man, you could settle the game down before it get to that point. But they like to let it ride to it's almost on the brink, and then they want to rein it in.
He said, "Get Perry referee.
Yeah, P White a referee, man. Yeah, he
Perry
ref high
football
school.
referee. He
Yeah,
football though, right?
yeah, he a football ref. He ref
Yeah.
high school games around here.
Shoot, they ran me out of basketball. I couldn't take it, man. You talking? I couldn't take the crowd be right there. I was like, oh Lord. And then them tournaments like you talking about on them weekends, woo-wee.
you
That ain't no
you did
fun
back
at all.
you
Back to
did
back to
basketball
back.
games in Tampa.
Yes, I used to do games in Tampa. I used to do high school and middle school, all that stuff. Be it Berkeley
Yeah,
Prep doing the little, Berkeley Prep got about
yeah,
10 teams, light blue,
yeah.
dark blue. You be
Hey,
down there. Everything ain't all. It ain't. You ain't gonna be refereeing Michael Jordan and all them kind of dudes. I'll just put it
you
like that right there.
you ever did one of them Blake Middleton games?
Basketball? No,
Yeah,
not that
you
I can
did football. You did
remember.
one in football.
Yes, I did Blake Middleton football at Middleton. I've done them, yeah. But that's easy. Football is easy. Football is easy to referee. Now basketball, that's a whole different animal right there. I'm telling you. You talking about quick. That
Oh yeah,
jump be so
everything.
quick, it be over with. You can't you can't blow the whistle now, and then you can't be anticipating because the dude might not touch it. You know what I mean?
I'm a
So
EA. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna see if I can catch a ghost. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna see what I can do. We might be able to pull a rabbit out of the hat. You never know. We're gonna see.
you're going
But
to try and get him to interview him.
I'm gonna try, man. Cause I'm just curious, man. I'm not trying to ambush nobody, cause people probably think you when you ask them that kind of stuff that you're trying to, what I'm saying, put them in a spot or something. But I just be genuinely curious about things, cause it just Oh yeah, yeah, man. People are crazy, especially high school basketball games, man. People get crazy.
Yeah,
Everybody
they
on top
do.
of it. You know what I'm saying? Like the gym small, it's packed out, and everybody, emotions is high. Been talking noise all day. Like man, it just
Yeah,
it
yeah.
could be.
Nah, I got on out of that basketball. I couldn't do it. I could do football if they'll just let me go and referee the games. I ain't have to go to the meetings and all the training and all that kind of. If I could just, if they'll just let me show up to the games on Friday night and Thursday, I'll go work them. I'll go out there and do that. I
Say,
can handle
don't worry
it.
about it. All that other stuff. Just
Yeah, I don't want to do none of the training. I don't want to do none of the free scrimmages you got to do. I don't want to go to none of the clinics you got to go to. But showing up on Friday nights and calling, I'll be ready for that. I can handle that. But
you want to be a game player, not a practice player.
yeah, but that ain't how it works. You gotta work your way up through the ranks. It's a process when it comes to anything and
Oh
officiating.
yeah.
It's a process. Yeah.
But man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing on up, man. We're running over a little bit over our time, but I thank
Yep.
y'all for tuning in, man. And we're gonna work on trying to, what I'm saying, get somebody in here, man, to maybe explain a couple things and answer some questions. We're gonna reach out and try to see what we can do. But I thank y'all for tuning in, man, and we'll be back next week for another edition of SWAC Smoke, man. Y'all make sure y'all go to some basketball games this weekend if y'all can. If you're in Baton Rouge, you need to be in the mini dome anyway, man. It's Southern Grambling. So, y'all make sure y'all turn out. Um, I know they got a couple, they got a couple big games in Texas this weekend. If you're a Jackson State Alcorn person, you're in the Houston, Texas area, your teams in that area, man. So y'all check them out. Got the Bridge Builders Classic in Mobile, Bama State, Bama A&M on, I think it's Saturday. So hey, we got a lot of good basketball going on, man. Y'all check it out. Um, I always beat that drum. Support swag basketball. I always beat that drum. But with that being said, man, we're gonna get on up out of here, man. I hope y'all enjoy y'all weekend and y'all stay warm with this weather coming through. And we will holler at y'all next week.
Peace.
Hit that like button on the way out, y'all. And subscribe like my boy said. Y'all take care of that little business on your way out, and we appreciate it.